Well, good evening everyone. Welcome along to this round 3 of the Apex Online Racing iRacing F4 series. So this is going to be race 5 and 6 this evening. 2 races in store for you. We're now just getting ready at the end of practice sessions. Ready for everyone to be out on the circuit for qualification. See if we can grab someone that's still actually out there on the circuit circulating. I think everyone is just about pulling in. I can hear cars, but I believe that is it. Everyone pulling into the pits at this point. So let's have a quick look and see if how practice was going for everyone out there. Yeah, literally coming to the end of practice now. So practice-wise, Jamie Nuttall coming in with the fastest time with a 1:21.392, with George McDonald in second and Morozoki in third place. So, time's starting to roll in. Now is the time that everyone's going to be getting ready to put in their qualifying laps. Brilliant circuit here. Absolutely love a little bit of Laguna Seca. And fingers crossed, we're in for some good racing. As we said, Formula 4 on iRacing here at Apex Online Racing. So, fingers crossed, we are in for a real good race this evening. I'm sure all the racers have been putting in plenty of practice. I know as soon as the practice session was open, everybody jumped into it pretty quickly. So, interesting to see how everyone gets on. Hopefully, all goes to plan for everyone involved. So at the moment, just in sort of the hover cams, waiting for people to actually get out there and get ready. Let's see if we can actually spot anybody. If we go to a different camera, might be able to see the pit lane. Not yet. Not able to see anyone at the moment. So just sitting and waiting, but getting some nice scenic shots of the circuit as we are waiting for it to all come to life. Absolutely glorious circuit. Getting into the evening, I did hear a few people say that while looking into it, that it might actually start to get just a tad bit dark towards the end of this race. So be interested to see how that all pans out for these drivers. Obviously no lights on these cars. Might end up getting a little bit dark. Qualifying set to start at 8 PM. So still waiting on it at the moment. But hopefully will not be long. Just gone 8 o'clock. Just waiting for this server to get itself up and running. So what has, for some reason, I am not seeing what other people are seeing, I think. to everyone at home. For some reason, it did not decide to let me go into the qualifying session on that one, so not sure what happened there, but there we go. Should be in with it very, very soon. So apologies for the technical difficulties. If you haven't noticed, this is my first time streaming iRacing, and for some reason it's all decided to come crashing down around me this evening. So apologies to everyone at home waiting. I tell you, myself as well was very much hoping this was all going to go a little bit smoother than it is. For some reason, it will not let me. Cars up on screen. I can only apologise again to everyone at home. I'm not sure what's happening with some technical difficulties on this end, not being able to pull any of the cars up for whatever reason. It's just not playing ball whatsoever. It will not allow me to. So yeah, I'm going to have to apologise profusely. This is a technical issue that I'm not sure how to solve at this moment in time. I'm not sure what's happening. Something catastrophic on this end has all gone wrong. So we will try and get back to the main race, but at the moment we are going to have to stay on this screen just a little bit longer. And apologies to everyone who has been waiting. Not allowing it. again, apologies. Hopefully we can actually get some of the racing up on screen in just a moment. So for whatever reason, it is not allowing us to actually show the cars in question. Unable to actually grab one. Oh, there we go. So, apologies about this. It's all been a little bit last moment and everything went a little bit wrong for whatever reason with the with this. So we will try and work out what on earth happened there. For whatever reason, it just did not want to let me choose any other cars. So we are about to actually start the beginning of the race, and we will try and run through the grid order in just a moment. Let's see what happened here. So, Jamie Nuttall on pole. George McDonald, second place. Third place, Imre. Fourth place, McGough. Fifth place is Joy. And Marzocchi in sixth position. Seventh place, Hughes Jack. Eighth place is Giles. Turner ninth. Hancock's 10th. Anso 11th. Benjamin in 12th. 13th place is Alan. Oh, and I believe it's about to be the beginning of the race, so we're going to go straight to it. And they're off. Great start by everyone. Try and go out to a wider camera. Here we go. Jamie Nuttall holding on to position to turn one. Oh, there was a bit of a crash there at the beginning of the race, though. One of the Napa racing cars has gone off. But our leader's out and flying already. Nuttall still holding on to first. Oh, and I think it was Joy, actually, was the driver that got the worst beginning there. Oh, what the car's dropping in and out off the screen for whatever reason. So far, Nuttall pulling away, holding on to pole position. There's Imre, we've seen a few times that car disappearing and reappearing on the screen for whatever reason. We're down through the corkscrew for the first time, everyone holding on to it. So Joy at the moment, the only person that really got a bit of a sting at the beginning of this race. Oh, and there we go. Dipping in and out. Not sure what's happening there with Imre's car. That's going to make it very difficult to follow round. On board at the moment with Liam Giles. Currently running in 5th place. This is their first flying lap. Back a little bit, the grid seems to be really split already. And reasonably spread out though at the moment. No one really close in battle. Back on board with our leader at the moment, Jamie Nuttall. Jamie Nuttall actually did make an appearance in the Apex Online Racing's GT3 League a season or two ago. Very fast driver. Very fast driver indeed, this young man. But slowly being chased down by George McDonald. Oh, and a classic looking livery. The Lucky Strike. Not a livery you'd realistically see in real life racing these days. Absolutely fantastic to see here on iRacing. Looking good. Marzocchi Currently fighting out for 12th position with a nice little gaggle of cars. And actually in the background it looked like Alan went a little bit wide. Oh, the timing board swooping through. There we go, new fastest lap from Jamie Nuttall, 122.031. Just on board Steve and Alan at the moment. So let's have a quick look. Actually, I think it was, we saw earlier on, there was Joy had a bit of an incident, and there he is, yes, in that Napa racing car. Lovely looking livery on that vehicle. Already starting to mix it up in some battles. Looks like he's coming up on the back of a few cars here. So this is Joy catching up with the back of Marzocchi, Acrobata, Ansu. Pushing forward as hard as possible. And Ansu on an absolute flyer at the moment. Was actually on a purple sector most of the way through. Leveled off in that shell livery car. But luckily we did manage to catch the beginning of the race. Again, to anyone watching at home, do apologise about that technical mishap. Another fastest lap now. Jamie Nuttall again with an improvement at 1:21.791. Turner, yes, Jonathan Turner sat in the pits, so not sure why he sat there. Must have had an issue. Back on board with our leader, Jamie Nuttall. You can see in the background McDonald starting to catch up with the back of him, definitely keeping pace with Nuttall at least. Oh, someone on an absolute flyer was Imre there. Green and gold livery. In fact, most of the top 5 actually flicking in and out of purple sectors, trading places at this point. Still definitely getting heat into the tyres, pushing hard. Lovely camera shots, they come flying down the hill. Still pushing on super hard as they now start another lap, another fastest lap now. That was George McDonald. So George McDonald has finally taken away the fastest lap from Nuttall. This is something to keep an eye on then. Nuttall now being outplaced by second place driver George McDonald. Jonathan Turner still in the pits, so no recovery drive as of yet appearing. Would appear that quite possibly this little battle from 10th place onward is starting to slow each other down. Starting to see some yellow sectors now. So we're starting to lose pace as these cars begin to close up on each other. Yeah, these three really are stacked. In fact, let's go on board with Joy and see if we can get on that halo and see forwards. Yes, there it is. You get an idea of what it's like to be in one of these cars flying along. Absolutely bucket loads of wind sound. I do apologise to everyone home at the audio level. Good lord, that was loud. But look at the time gain there through the corkscrew on an absolute charge at this point. Obviously these cars do have aero, but a lot of it is tyre dependent. Oh, and it does appear that some of the cars are flicking in and out still a little bit this evening for whatever reason. Joy deciding to come into the pits. Deciding to jump on in, maybe get himself some clean air and sort out the issues after that incident. Bit of a shame to see that happen. Obviously that incident on lap 1, turn 2. At the front, the gap isn't really changing. It's been about 0.6. Nuttall again now though, on a bit of a charge, just put in a purple sector for a very brief amount of time. Then we'll start to level off ever so slightly. It is technically 0.1 up on his best, but I don't know actually. George McDonald definitely looking like he is on the back of Nuttall now. Nuttall not one to be easily scared or off-put, but whenever you've got a car that close to you, it always starts to get a little bit nerve-wracking. So this is the battle for 8th position going on now. This is Pultz versus, battle for 7th, sorry. So this is Pultz versus Benjamin. Lovely livery cars there, that sort of American-esque livery of Benjamin's car. And in fact, let's jump on board for a lap. Oh, it's now got the Pultz. So, yeah, on board with Pultz, flying into turn 2. Getting on the throttle, loads of power there. The gap has ever so slightly opened up. I'm sure it will close back down again, although the battle for first place has really heated up. In fact, that is absolutely on now. George McDonald on an absolute fly up towards the corkscrew. Are we going to possibly see a move here? It's going to have to be a very brave move on the brakes if he's going to try and take Nuttall here. No, two of them stay together, but now 0.2 of a second between them. There is absolutely nothing at all between them as they come flying down now into the penultimate turn. And it definitely looks like George just looking a little bit more confident. Look up the inside there, decided not to go for it, trying to get maybe a bit of a better line into the final turn. Doesn't quite work, maybe slightly outbrakes himself, and that gap opens back up. Imre as well in the background. Looking like he's possibly trying to go for a bit of a move. Again, throws it into turn 2. Absolutely gunning it at this point. Seeing if they can close back up again. Obviously, we saw just a moment ago how much the gap had come down. It was 0.1 as they were entering into the corkscrew. Opened back up ever so slightly. Still pushing hard, though. Still pushing very hard. Again, this part of the lap last time round, they were very, very close. A little look to the inside, trying to unsettle Nuttall. Not sure it's going to work. Certainly starting to show the nose up the inside. Into the corkscrew, absolutely neck and neck. Obviously, the last thing you want to do is actually have some kind of contact. Just looking at that glorious cracked livery on the front of Nuttall's car there. Stunning livery. Oh, there's been a change of position back there. I think it was Giles and McGough have changed positions. Oh, and another look up the inside into the final turn. Not quite able to do it, though. Now we're going to jump on the halo of George. Through turn 1. Don't lift all the way down towards turn 2. Hard brakes all the way to the apex, holding it in. Just looks a little bit more confident than Nuttall, I would say, going into these turns. Gets on the throttle, decent exit that time. Nuttall as well with a good exit. Both of them throwing it in, very confident, hoping it sticks. Nuttall dips a tyre out of the gravel. Surely that's going to exit to affect his exit speed. It doesn't appear to, though. Just hear those tyres getting punished. The gap has ever so slightly opened up again. Nuttall obviously going for it. These two both on purple laps at the moment, though. They're absolutely flying, so I'm not sure if we're going to see an absolute fastest lap or not. So Nuttall responding to McDonald. It's going to have to be a serious push. God, you can just hear the car beating over the curves. Just avoiding that sausage curve on the inside. Again, not quite able to go. Oh, there's a mistake. There's a mistake from George. Gets it going quickly, only loses the 1 position, but he'll be so disappointed with that. After battling the pole position, he's now down in 3rd place, and with a lot of ground to make up. Just got on the throttle a little bit too soon, unsettled the car, and that was the end of that. So this is Marzocchi, currently running in 10th place. Actually, someone who's on a flyer then. It was 13th place with Kuziak. Lovely livery on that car as well, absolutely stunning. Striking bold yellow and black livery. And that battle for first place has definitely opened right up at this point. Although we are on board with Cusack, it has just told me that Dom Joy has just appeared in front of him in the timing screen. So not happened there with the old timing screen, but it's Dominic Joy, car number 54, the Napa Racing Machine, currently running in 11th place. Oh, Marzok in front, going very slowly, so I think must have had a spin. 12 seconds down on their time. Still 10th place on the timing board, but now really, really going quite steady. Ah, yes, there we go. So he did. He had a crash. I might be able to go back to it, actually. Can we see it? So this is the replay. Oh, yeah, deep into the gravel, rotates the car. Does he keep it out the tyres? No! Ends up entering the tyres as well. Oh, dear. Yeah, and that would be where those 12 seconds went. And now the front end of that car will be carrying significant amount of damage. Oh, although having a quick look, it does appear that Dom Joy also may have had an off track while rejoining. Still in the replay, should be cutting back to it in just a moment. To rejiggle itself. Got me in the replay for whatever reason. Battle really starting to heat up. For whatever reason, this is still stuck on the screen annoyingly. George McDonald's still running down in third after his rotation. This little battle going on now. The 5th position. This three-way squabble really starting to kick off at this point. One to keep an eye on. Oh, it's really starting to close up. Here we go. Plus move up the inside. Big dive. Does get the car on the inside. Is it going to stick? Oh, there's an off track and a big rotation. Oh, that was close. That was close. Let's see if we can go back and catch that one. That was Jeff Hancock, I believe. Yes, it was. Here we go. So on board with Jeff Hancock. Their big rotation just about avoids getting collected by anyone else. Holds the brake. Really well done to avoid an incident. Super close though. That was very nearly an incident there. Just about managing to avoid any kind of problems. So there we go, back on the live timing, just under 22 minutes of the race left to go now. And Marzocchi is also starting to close up now on the back of Kuzyak. Oh, and I think we just had a crash. Well, that might just be in the bottoms of the cars going down. Did we have... Quite possibly, I think that was a Stephen Allen crash. Did we have another one there? I think he's just moved to the side off the racing line. Something there. Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Just have moved off the racing line. Just remember if there's any actual incident. Yes, that's fine. A little panic for a moment there. Thought we had another incident. A couple of cars still in the midfield, actually starting to put in the fastest laps of the race at this point. At the fastest lap, so still currently it's George McDonald with that 1:21.649 that he did earlier on. And so far, no one has managed to best that. Stephen Allen still running a little bit off the pace, it would seem. But it is definitely starting to get pretty dark out there. And in fact, if we go on the halo cam of our leader, you can start to see how dark it's getting. There are no real lights here at Laguna Seca either. So once it gets dark, that's it. There's no real lighting on track. There's no headlights on these cars. With 20 minutes left of the race, I think it's going to get a little bit dicey. I think it's going to be lucky if people make it to the end without having to sort of try and pull a torch out of their pocket or something. I think it's going to be very, very dark, and but still though, Nutter on an absolute best at the moment. Sort of dipping in and out with his absolute best lap. Everyone sort of opened up a little bit. Marzocchi though closing up on the back of Huzak. If they start another lap, as they delve once more into the darkness. Oh, move up the inside into turn 2. Not able to do it. The nose chopped off, and the battle continues on. So 11th place this battle. Still squabbling onwards. Lovely looking car as well, to be fair. Lovely blue and white. This is the big one. This is the one to keep an eye on right now. Charging along. Swift left-hander. Then the uphill section into the corkscrew. Don't think we're going to see a move into the braking zone for the corkscrew. Be very surprised. Oh, here we go. There is Liam Giles. What happened there? I think that Liam Giles must have gone off. Session events. Liam Giles. Did we have a crash there? Yes, we did. Oh! So what happened there? Went way, way off for whatever reason. So back in with the live action. Marzocchi not able to make the move work just yet. But that time is still pretty close. Less than a second between them. And that's really not a lot of time here in F4, do apologise. Cover lots of different disciplines of racing, so every once in a while they all start to go together a little bit. And just seeing from Stick Czar in the chat, will you be streaming the Endurance Championship? I personally won't. I'm not sure if there is coverage or not for that one. That is over on obviously the same channel, but that is ACC, so that's GT3 Racing. Oh, Liam Giles again. Pretty sure we've had another incident there. Or possibly not. It's not coming up as a fresh one. So he's just down on his time. So he might be in the pits thinking about it. be disappointed with that. Yes. Still pushing on though. This is the battle to keep an eye on. Everyone else kind of fairly opened up at the moment. We'll have a little run through. 17 minutes of the race left to go. So quick check in with our leader, Jamie Nuttall. I think these drivers are really going to be struggling for visibility towards the end of this race. It could be a little bit dicey. This gap actually starting to come down now. Imre maybe feeling slightly more confident in these darkening conditions. The gap is less than a second between them. Jumping back on board for this battle for 11th place. These two really starting to squabble out. Just delving further into the darkness. Realistically, at this point, if anyone's going to try and make any kind of daring moves, they need to get it done quickly, or they're going to run out of visibility to really make these moves. It could be a case of just following on behind. As you can see them flying up the hill towards the corkscrew once more. Onto the brakes. Oh, a little bit deep there. This is the problem when you're trying to chase after a car. It gets a little bit dicey from time to time. And that gap subsequently has opened right up. But one that is continuing to close is the battle for pole position. Nuttall versus Imre. Imre less than 0.6 between them as they come through the final turn. Really comes down to just who can get the best exits in these cars, just trying to maintain the momentum. As soon as it drops off, then you've got a lot of work to get that momentum back up. We're really seeing that with the drivers that are sort of on the attack. Oh, there we go. There was a position change then. What happened then? George McDonald passed by Kieran. So that was the battle for third place. That was McGough versus McDonald. Oh, there we go. Yeah, McDonald has come into the pits. That will explain what happened there. So back on board with Imre, still chasing after the back of Nuttall, followed by McDonald, who actually was in the pit, so that may change. Then Benjamin, Pauls, Ansu, McGough, Hancox, Giles, Joy, Kuziak, Marzocchi, Allen, Akabata, and Turner. I do believe the last two cars, yes, have retired to the pits at this point. We're still pushing hard, pushing forward. Oh, even for me here in the commentary booth, really actually starting to begin to struggle to see everything going on. So let's have a quick look on board and just see how low the visibility has got. Now, for everyone at home, you might be thinking that's not too bad, but you've got to remember you're trying to look at the car in front, you're trying to spot your apex, your braking point, all these things, and they're slowly getting harder and harder to see, and still with just over 13 and a half minutes of the race left, this could be a real issue. So Paul's gone into the pit on lap 19. So again, the order is going to change ever so slightly. Right, so this is the cars absolutely bottoming out as they fly through the circuit. Again, now this is where they really need to take quite a beating. Down to the penultimate turn. There it is. And you can just see now how dark it has got out there. Under 13 minutes left now. Couple of drivers on out laps at the moment. So drivers that have pitted, McGough has pitted, So is Pauls. Then we've got Giles, Joy, and Huziak. So these drivers have all pitted much, much earlier. Oh, Marzocchi and Stephen Allen as well have also completed their pit stops. So there is going to be a little bit of a shuffle, obviously, when people do start to actually pit. Oh, and Imre has closed the gap up to now half a second. At this point in the race where everything just starts to get spread out just a little bit. Still pushing forward. Again, dipping further and further into darkness. I do imagine maybe a couple of the racers might have some things to say to the race director after this one. Might be wanting to mention the fact that it got so incredibly dark for them. Still 0.8 of a second between them at the moment, though. And when are we going to see their pits? When are we going to see them pit? Oh, here we go. Back markers coming through. Nicely cleared. Someone absolutely pinging the limiter there. Oh, George McDonald is, I believe, is come into the pits. So George McDonald coming into the pit. Benjamin takes over third place. Ansu also gains a position there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes up the times. Current third place driver and Benjamin and that car number 991 struggling to see the glorious livery at this point, but I promise you it is still out there. Seeing Imre into the pits. Yes, we are. Imre into the pits as well. So I would imagine Benjamin is going to gain a position here. He is a fair old way around the circuit still. Here we go. Yeah, definitely gains the position. So now George McDonald is out on track, currently running in 5th. Actually just completing a lap, so there we go, that's one complete lap after his pit stop. And whereas Imre in comparison, out the pits as well, has completed his pit stop. And a long, long way away, so whether it was a tactical pit stop or not, that has not worked out in anyone's favour. Well, it has not worked out in McDonald's favour. Car number 66. And one of the back markers moved out the way again. Just sometimes be the case. Oh, there we go. Jamie Nuttall, I believe we can see in the pits as well. Yes. Imre on a flyer, so it's going to be interesting to see where Imre comes out in comparison to Jamie Nuttall. So we'll stick with Imre for a minute, and in fact, here we go. Imre now. Oh, but Nuttall already out of the pit, so the late pit seems to be the move. Although possibly not. Here we go. This is Nuttall coming down towards turn 1, but he's still in the pit exit. Can Imre do anything? And it has got monstrously dark out there. I think most drivers are probably really struggling to see. I am struggling to see personally. Let's go over to gyrocam, and yes, it's dark out there. Yeah, and that's a problem. I think it's just got too dark. I think it's got too dark for everyone, and everyone is now near on stopping. Paul somehow still pushing on really well, but yellow flag out for the race at the moment. Right. Be interested to see how this one works. Because even on board, I'm struggling to see kind of anything. A bit of the drone cam, and yeah, you can just see it's so dark you can't really pick anything up on the drone cam. So we'll jump back to the TV cameras, and well, currently everyone basically creeping round. I mean, Imre has managed to somehow gain the position, but has now gone off and is parking. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just a case of feeling their way around the track. This has all gone a little bit Pete-tong, I think. This probably is not how it was meant to go. Maybe they didn't expect to get this dark so quickly. And, yeah. It's mightily dark. Looks like everyone, essentially, is parking up at this point. Anyone still moving? Yeah. Adam Benjamin still out there trying to put in some times and try and gain a position or two. But with just under 6 minutes left of the race, it's really a case of who can turn the brightness up on their monitors at home, to be fair. Very hard to see. Is that McDonald in the background? Yeah, so a few drivers out there still pushing forward. Trying to do something. This is the issue as well. They slow down so much, I'm actually going to be losing tyre temperature. And we did wonder, oh, here we go. And it looks like a safety car is leaving the pits. McDonald did take pole position. And I imagine it's going to be a case of maybe following. Ah, they're going to be swapped back again. I'm pretty sure we saw a safety car for a moment then. Yeah, there is a safety car, but I mean, I'm not even really sure how anyone's going to be able to follow that. So this is Benjamin. Oh, what is he? He's met the back of the safety car there. Let's have a look and see if we go on his gyro. Let's just see what he can see. So there we go. He's got a lovely set of lights to follow. But if we drop back to second place, it's not great. And then even further back, and still, oh, not sure what's going on here. It's all gone a bit strange. Yeah, if you're further back, you don't have that car to follow. So keeping an eye on the race director to see what the decision's going to be here. It's not the best viewing for anyone, I don't think, at the moment. Still 4 minutes left of the race, so whether they're just going to cycle round behind the safety car. And actually, no, George McDonald has retired. Or at least he's pulled over for the moment. So at the moment, Adam Benjamin is just following round, really. Bit of a strange end to the race. 3 minutes 30 seconds left. I don't imagine anyone can really see anything. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, loads of cars have just decided to call it quits and come into the pit. Not many people left out there. It could be interesting to see how this affects the results, if I'm brutally honest, because obviously a lot of drivers have just said to themselves, there's no point keeping going. And, you know, our top drivers that were out there earlier, obviously Nuttall, Imre and McDonald, who were all within the top three a lot of the time, most of them are in now. So circulating drivers, and Benjamin, and Sue is still out there. It's saying Imre is, but he's not, and neither is McGough. Again, you can just see there's just multiple cars stacked up. So I actually think it is literally just these two continuing to follow the lights of the safety car. and they're probably the only two drivers that can even see the safety car. So 2 minutes left of this one, and I think there might be a few complaints to the stewards. I have a feeling. Maybe just one or two. It's certainly a bit odd. There we go. So a couple of drivers, just seeing it here now from Imre, just saying he's just decided to end the race early, and he's going to come back in for the second sprint race. And yeah, someone saying someone forgot to put money on the sun meter. Yeah, it was getting darker and darker, and then suddenly, like a flick of the switch, the lights went out, and everybody was still out there going full chat at the time. So yeah, a bit of an odd end to the race. Still with the 1 minute and 12 left. Again, just basically following Adam Benjamin around at the moment, who is just following a set of lights. There we go. Right, so people are basically saying about taking it from earlier in the race before it became dark. So then obviously that would make it Nuttall, Imre, and then McGough. Those results, which I can see that being the case. That would make a lot of sense. Probably the safest way of doing it. God, just look at the darkness out there now. Absolutely no visibility at all. I mean, we'll go on the gyro just the final lap, but there's just no visibility left. So yeah, not sure how that one's going to work out. Bit of an odd one. Bit of an odd one indeed. Technically the final lap, so cars coming in. So at the end of this race there will be a short break, and then we'll be going into the sprint the sprint race. So a bit shorter, hopefully a bit more sunlight. I did see one or two people saying earlier in the week they were worried about the light levels and whether or not there would be enough light to finish the race, and I'll be honest, I didn't think that was going to be a reality, but here we are, and it's absolutely pitch black. And actually, I'd say the safety cars come into the pit. And that's it. That is the end of that race. So I'm begrudged to put up the results, as I'm not even sure that they will be correct. I mean, we're going to put them up for now anyway. So, as they crossed the line at the end of the race, it was Adam Benjamin, Ansu, McDonald, Giles, Nuttall, Imre, McGough, Pulls, Hancock and Joy bringing in the top 10. But, as you can see on screen, that isn't really... it was a bit of an odd end, to the race. So, right... So while the race switches between switches over to the new session, we will have another jump on with everyone in just a second. So 5 minutes time, there will be another race beginning. Absolute scenes here this evening, it has to be said. Don't think anyone really knew sort of what to expect at that point. Certainly a strange way to end that session. Just seeing it now, so, you know, people saying, "Oopsie," about that one. So, little break between races, so you can just enjoy the quiet music in the background, just being played just there. Should not be long. You know, the next race will be up and ready, and we can jump on board for the sprint race. So, scenes towards the end of the race, as I've said a few times, and actually net seeing in the chat now a couple of races just sort of saying that they were not able to see, although yeah, I am to be fair, I am seeing that some of the races are very happy that they did actually technically cross the line in first place. So yeah, not sure how that's going to go down with everybody. So normally I would go through the results, but obviously the results were a little bit higgledy-piggledy and strange there, weren't they? So I'm not sure it makes sense to go through those results right now. So, new race coming up right now. This is going to be the sprint race. So hopefully, should be able to get on into it pretty soon. So should be joining in just a second. So obviously some technical difficulties on everyone's ends, I think, this evening. very soon we will be in and live again with all the cars. So this is the practice session just before the sprint race. It won't be 30 minutes of practice. This is just giving us a little idea of what's going on. Oh, there we go, that Nuttall going straight off immediately. Looking a bit brighter now. This is much, much nicer. This is what everyone wants to see. Actual visibility of the circuit. I expect lots of drivers out there just be very, very happy to be able to see anything whatsoever. Oh, and actually there we go, a couple of drivers going off and fastest laps thundering in suddenly. The best lap we've seen at the moment is a 1:23.7. Oof, goodness gracious, and a big old incident there. So we go, qualifying has begun. So just waiting to move into quali for the sprint race. Very short amount of qualification. So I do apologise to everyone at home. It's been a bit of a hickledy-pickledy old stream tonight. First time streaming iRacing. A little bit unfamiliar with how the game lets you do certain things. So it is 100% my fault. And I am not even going to begin to try and deny that. Because for whatever reason, I can somehow manage to I can get the track up, and I can see the live timings, but I can't seem to get the actual the racing to appear. So it's obviously something I'm doing, but I do apologise that I am not currently aware of what it is I'm doing wrong. It's just not going quite as planned. But I do promise the next week will be better. This week has certainly been a bit of a learning curve for me. As anyone will know, normally I do ACC, a very different game, using a completely different software. And so this time round it's just been a bit of a... it just has not gone to plan. Yeah, for whatever reason, I am completely unable to bring the cars up. So I think what we're going to do is just move straight to the race, which should be happening in just a moment. Yeah, I'm clicking everything I think I should be clicking, and for whatever reason, it's not giving me what I wanted to see. With 7 minutes left of qualifying left, I can at least give you the results, hopefully. So there we go, all the cars suddenly appearing. Typically, and now they come. Hopefully going to get the start of this race. Just desperately trying to get things to start working. Big lockups on this end, I'm afraid. And I'm aware for everyone at home, it's not a particularly interesting watch between these long times with not a lot happening. Cutting across to the main cameras, and again we saw the race. There we go. Right, so for whatever reason it didn't want to play ball before, but now we can at least catch the beginning of this race. Jamie Nuttall getting ready. So all eyes on the prize at this point. So grid as it stands is Nuttall, Giles, Imre, McDonald, Marzocchi. They make up the top 5. Hancocks, Hunjak, Joy, McGough, Benjamin. They make up the top 10. Domino, Turner, Ansu and Allen, they round out the 14-car grid. I'm so do apologise, Domino, because you are the very, very courteous gentleman that showed me how everything worked. And yeah, here we go. So countdown begins.
Green flag, green
Lights go green and they're off. Really good start. A little bit of a jump around at the beginning. But off they fly down through turns 1 and a 3-1 in the background. Oh, and Joy gets rotated again. Oh, that's never good. Joy getting rotated, and we'll see if we can go back to that. So we can go from a different angle. We're coming down the hill. You see Joy just gets collected, rotated, and that is the end of that. What a way to start the day, and it's just no fun having that straight away. So this is the opening lap. So Jamie Nuttall flying away at the moment once again. On an absolute charge. Well, actually then, what's that moving out of the way? I think that was Giles we just saw pulling away. We've got Giles dropping right off the pace. Cars going left and right all over the gravel. Good recovery, to be fair. Yeah, Giles, for whatever reason then, slowed right off. Oh, and there's another incident in the back of the shot as well. Oh, it's all going on. So that was Benjamin Marzocchi. So that was a move into the final turn. Here we go. And there's your bump. And there it was. It's all certainly kicking off in this race. George McDonald, second place. Looked like he was starting to do a bit of a push. But has not yet. So let's have a little look and see who's actually still out there circulating. Joy has gone to the pits. Huzak's gone to the pits. Hancock's also in the pits. Although Hancock's is leaving the pits and moving off. I don't know if everyone's going to bother. It's a 20-minute race this time round, so half the time it's going to be super disappointing being taken out on the opening lap. But at the moment, closest battle is... Oh, and there's an incident there. We just cut to it a little bit too late. We'll see if we can grab that on the session event. Here we go. So I think that was Jeff Hancock's. Goes wide, rotates the car. That was not what we saw though, was it? That was not the incident we saw. I'm pretty sure it was here. So I think this was in front there was an incident. Yeah, and you can see off the track. So for whatever reason, did not get picked up in the replays. The fastest lap has gone to, I believe, we just saw that was McDonald, wasn't it? So let's have a quick double check. Yeah, that was McDonald, 122.028. So on a bit of a charge now, looking to regain the time lost. Just trying to see if anyone has left. Dominic Joyce decided to stay in the pits. Hughes Jack has actually completely left the race in its entirety now. And after clicking on that car, it's now thrown an absolute wobbly again. So we're seeing cars coming by. Go. New fastest lap, George McDonald, a 1:21. So into the 21s. This is a lovely little battle going on here at the moment, though. So this is McGough versus Giles. Super close. In fact, let's try and jump on that halo cam. There it is. Looking forwards. Ooh, you can hear the tyres being squealing and punished as they throw it in. Yes, he's actually getting the overlap as they come towards the corkscrew, dive their way down through. McDonald on a charge. Up behind Imre, so Imre doing really well in race 1 as well. These two had plenty of squabbles. George having that incident on the final turn. Oh, and they're trying to go around the outside of Nuttall. They're too wide. Imre trying to go through. Is this going to be advantage? McDonald, I think it might be. 3 cars all absolutely stacked up. So down towards turn 2. They are too wide as they enter that in that part of the track. Throwing it in around the outside, doesn't quite make it stick, but Imre goes up the inside. Imre goes up the inside of Nuttall, and Nuttall gets an off track as well. That is surely going to go. He manages to get back down the inside again. Not that sure how on earth that worked. George now might being able to take advantage. Now George McDonald up into second place, gets past Imre, and is on a charge after Nuttall. What is happening here is all over the place, these 3 drivers, and while they're squabbling, 4th and 5th place also now starting to catch up the back of them. So while we've got a little bit of light, let's see if we can go to the drone cam. Yes, drone cam here on top. So looking down at our top 3 battle. Still pushing on really, really well. They're closing up again, down through the corkscrew. Pouring towards the end of the lap. But definitely 4th and 5th starting to catch up with the back of them. And that is McGough and Giles, who are sniffing around the back of this fight. Meanwhile, further back in the field, Benjamin is on a very good lap. Oh, and there was a slight touch there. Did we get that? I don't think the game even picked up that little bump between those two, but that has allowed Nuttall to escape, and that has definitely allowed McGough to come flying up behind. Look to the inside by Imran, not able to do it, actually does get the car there. George McDonald just out braking himself, drops back down to 3rd place. They've been squabbling it out, but the battle for 2nd place is nearly 4 cars. It's all going on behind as well. Cars all over the place, going to jump back to the cams now. This is really close. McDonald all over the back of Imre. They need to stop squabbling, they need to push forward if they want to stand a chance of hanging on to the back of Jamie Nuttall. Just over 12 minutes left of this race. So nearly halfway through. And at the moment, Nuttall has managed to keep a level head and stay in front the entire time. These two, the battle for 4th seems to have broken up a little bit. This is definitely our closest battle on track, although tell a lie, and Sue having a really good squabble as well down through here. A little bit further back on the track, but there's certainly not a lot of distance between them. Pushing on nicely. That gap maybe just starting to ease off ever so slightly. Another battle that is still raging on though. McDonald versus Imre. I'm not sure if we can maybe get a gearbox view backwards. I'm pretty sure we can. We'll see if we can get the spot. It's about the rear camera looking back. Really see the absolute altitude change. Absolutely ridiculous as they go through there. Continuing on, these two squabbling quite fiercely. The battle for 4th place looks like it's starting to close up a little bit as well. That 9th place battle between Allen and Turner as well. Here we go, the possible move into turn 2. No. Oh, George McDonald with another fastest lap though. George McDonald now definitely on the attack, and it looks like Nuttall has lost a little bit of time. three squabbling it out. Imre is now becoming the sandwich between two very, very fast cars. So Imre, no slouch himself, pushing really forward, pushing hard forwards, but looking like McDonald might be the faster driver, just not able to make the move. Difficult circuit to overtake here. These drivers within 200ths of a second of their fastest lap. Oh, look like Imre got a little bit unsettled as he went through the mid-sector of the corkscrew. The car got a little bit unsettled, didn't manage to lose too much speed. Luckily a slow part of the circuit anyway, so not too much time lost. This battle going on, super, super close. We're going to go back up to the drone cam as these three fly down towards turn 1 and 2. Looks like ever so slightly worse exit from the final corner. Oh, but big lunge under braking there from McDonald, regaining the time he lost. It just doesn't look like perhaps Nuttall is as confident as he flies down through this first sector. So turns 1 and 2, and to be fair, 3 and 4, he loses a little bit of time to these two. They really need to stop squabbling and just sort of put the hammer down and try and go for it. Less than 8.5 minutes left of the race. So well past the halfway mark at this point. It looks like the squabble for 4th is continuing as well. 0.2 of a second between these two. Is there going to be anything able to do under braking? I'm not sure. That might be a little bit too much to ask for. We're going to jump on the halo cam. Oh, big unsettling of the car there from McGough. You can see the three cars battling out the pole position up in the lead as well. Let's go back to the drones and jump back on board with this battle. And now Nuttall seriously under attack. Going to have to find some pace somewhere. And actually, here we go. Imre looks to the outside. Oh, but a couple of glitches in and out there for Imre. The car having some sort of connectivity problems and appears to lose pace as well. George McDonald now back on the attack. That slight mistake through turn 2 from Imre. Absolutely gorgeous shots that fly down the hill onto the Ryle straight. Still pushing forward hard. And there we go, Domino just letting me know about the overlay. I did get it up eventually. I do apologise, I clicked the wrong button. And hid everything. So George McDonald now. Has George McDonald just got into the lead? When on earth did that happen? I think it was literally as I was reading the chat that happened. So it was when Jamie had an off track. But it hasn't even put it. Here we go, let's see if we can jump back here. So this was on board with Nuttall. So when did it go wrong for Nuttall? So it's going up with the corkscrew, outbrakes himself into the corkscrew. With Imre coming along. And so when... Well, that was Liam Giles, wasn't it? So when on earth did that happen? This is back on the replay. This is when so Imre goes around the outside of George at this point. And they're trading positions left, right and centre. We're going to go back to the live racing with these three. And I do apologise that we missed the actual move. It all got a little bit confusing there on the old timing board. So at the moment, it's Imre leads Nuttall, leads McDonald. Three drivers have really been swapping it out. Every time we cut away to look at anyone else, suddenly something emerges on the screen in front of us, which is always the way. feel bad for putting these three drivers on the stream quite as much as they are. To be fair, I've got to say, look at Imre just absolutely flying away from him at this point. Less than 5 minutes of the race left. And Imre putting in the dominant amount of pace, really starting to pull away pretty quickly. Nuttall still under attack though from McDonald. Nice little squabble, it's coming along. Less than 0.03 of a second between them. Going out wide, just dips a tyre onto the grass, on gravel, or sand as it is here at Laguna Seca. One of those circuits that you think would have a really high grip, but you can see the amount of dust off the racing line. It does make overtaking in the braking zones very, very difficult here. As soon as you try and go for any kind of advantage. Oh, and hang on, in the background we've got McGough. This is versus Giles. This is the battle for 4th place. Tries to go around the outside, going to get a switchback, possibly here onto the pit straight. Another cracked racing driver. They're absolutely toe-to-toe. Giles on a real charge, looking to go around the outside at turn 1. And George McDonald with another fastest lap of the race there. Really well covered off there by McGough, to be fair. Really nicely done, put the car in just the right place, took away that momentum from Giles. It meant he could hang on to the position for a little bit longer. 3 minutes of the race left. Absolutely nothing between them, and he goes to the inside. Runs a shorter line, but he's going to be on the outside coming into this braking zone. Tries to go all the way around the outside. That's super brave stuff. Doesn't quite work. I think there may have even been the slightest little bit of contact between them. Really brave stuff to try and hang on to it around the outside. Didn't quite go to plan. Probably got 2 laps after this one, I think. They should just get across the line before the timer runs out. Oh, there's a big rotation, and McGough drops back. Giles now free to go on the charge. That one probably is not the way he wanted to gain a position, but that is quite often the way positions are gained here at Laguna Seca. It is very much a race of attrition. You just need to try and survive for as long as possible. And I imagine McGough will be absolutely kicking himself for that one with now 2 minutes left of the race. It really was an unfortunate, just a case of unsettling the car as they come through the corkscrew. It's the part of the track where the car is going to feel the most difficult to drive. The sudden change from light grip to high grip. As you go over the crest and then into the dip. Really is a difficult track. And these drivers, although most of the time are making it look easy, are still being caught out in incredibly difficult conditions. But not getting dark this time round, which is obviously a big bonus. So Imre, who was flying away at one point, seems to just be managing the gap back to Nuttall. So entering the final minute, so it's going to be this lap and one more. And to be fair, Nuttall really pushing forwards, seeing what he can do. Let's have a look at what their lap times are going to be as they cross the line. So that was Imre with a 121.60, and then it was Nuttall with a 121. Oh no, do apologise, that was the other way around. So Nuttall actually putting in a 21.550. Really fast time. Pushing forward extremely hard. In fact, I'm surprised that didn't just bring Nuttall up with fastest lap. Who is still running the fastest lap? No, it's still George McDonald with that 121.526. Ah, yes, there we go. So still, that was ever so slightly quicker, wasn't it? Just ever so slightly faster. Nothing between them really at all, but it looks like maybe a back marker there in front. Yes, they are moved out the way. So this is it. This is the final lap. It's all or nothing for Nuttall, it would seem. Absolutely going for it, seeing if he can get the position. I don't think he's going to be able to catch the back of Imre at this point. It just looks like an unclosable gap. So, Evan Imre on the final lap, penultimate turn, pushing through. We've seen it all go wrong for people on the final turn, so we will not call it until they are across the line. Imre now on that final charge. And it looks like these three are going to cross the line all together. Lovely stuff. So still a little bit of a squabbling going on. So Benjamin versus Ansu. So that is Benjamin. That was a back marker. That's why they're not appearing on the timing screen. So that is the race done as they're coming across the line. We'll see if we can get the results up on the screen in just a moment for everyone. Oh, and I think a couple of maybe slightly annoyed racers out there this evening. This is Alan, currently running in 49. Running in 9th place, car number 49. Just about holding it together. A few turns left to go, and they are home. But I think that is our only driver out on the track that has not crossed the line. So here we go, Alan about to cross the line. And hopefully, possibly, some of our drivers might be willing to jump in and have a little chat with us. So let's have a quick look at the results. Hopefully we can get them up on the screen. So race results. So Imre comes across the line in pole, Nuttall in second, George McDonald in third, Giles comes across the line in 4th place, McGough 5th, Benjamin 6th, 7th is Ansu, 8th is Marzocchi, 9th is Stephen Allen, 10th is Jonathan Hancocks. And I think then we've also got a few cars coming across the line as well. So we've got Jonathan Turner in 11th, and then obviously we've got Joy, Hootjack and Domino, who did not finish the race themselves. So a bit of a shame for those, but predominantly everyone made it across the line in that second race. It didn't go dark, so that's a big old bonus for everyone at home. I'm sure everyone very much appreciates that. So what we're going to do is jump back to the pre-screen, and then hopefully we can get a couple of people in the chat and see if anyone is willing to have a little chinwag with us in the old Discord. Not at the moment. Let's see if we can coax them in. Let's see if we get anyone that does want to come in. If not, we will call it a day. Just waiting and seeing now. Seeing if anyone is brave enough. It can be a little bit daunting for getting people to come in for interviews, but it's always nice to at least offer them up. So again, going through that final grid results. So Imre finishing in pole position. Nuttall coming across the line in second. And McDonald coming across in third. Okay, so we do have someone ready for an interview, so we will drag them in and see what they have to say. Good evening, welcome to the interview room.
Hello there.
So I believe your Discord name is slightly different to your in-game name, so let everybody at home know who you are.
I am the winner of the sprint race, Evan Imre.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, good.
I mean, it certainly seemed like it was a case of immediately from the beginning you were catching up with Nuttall. So lovely to see that, and in the end you did obviously make the movement work after he went very, very deep at the corkscrew. Talk us through race one a little bit, because I think Everyone at home saw it got very dark, but what was it like for you on the track?
So the first race, well, I qualified third, I think, and then I think I made a move. No, I was running third quite comfortably, and then I think it was George that spun in front of me, so I was net second, and I was keeping within a couple of seconds of Jamie, and that gap seemed to get smaller the darker it got. So maybe Jamie was struggling with the light more than I was, but so I was catching him, and the light was just getting worse and worse. And I thought the sun might just stay up till the end of the race. We had about 10 minutes to go. Unfortunately, the sun just disappeared with 10 minutes to go, and uh, nobody could drive then. I mean, people were struggling already, but yeah, it was a problem setting up the session, not with the correct time. So we're going to take the results from maybe about halfway through that race when the pit cycles hadn't started.
Yeah, I think that would definitely make sense. I say, even for me here, with obviously all the cameras at my disposal, it definitely looked incredibly hard work. I jumped on board with a couple of drivers onto the sort of the cockpit cams, and yeah, I'm certainly glad that I was not racing that night or tonight, as I would not have been able to see anything at all. Race two, obviously much better. It, as you said, obviously came away with first place, which is an absolutely fantastic effort. Moving forward through the series, are you hoping to get a few more podiums?
Oh yes, podiums are the goal at the moment. Jamie is still the fastest driver on track. He didn't seem as fast tonight, and I was surprised actually in the sprint race that I was able to pass him along with George. So it was a good fight in the sprint, and I managed to get away at the end in the last few laps to take the win, which we've been running these single seater leagues for 7, 8 years, and I mean it's quite a small grid, like, but that is my first victory ever in the 8 years. I mean it's only 14 people in the grid, but uh, it's got a little smile on my face, even though I would have liked to have done it a few years ago. But yeah,
Well, I will say it may not be sort of the fullest grid, but the quality of drivers is still definitely up there. I know Jamie Nuttall from GT3 Racing here with Apex Online Racing, and he is no slouch. He was totally dominant of Tier 2, and I think if he'd continued with it, he would have gone up to Tier 1. So, he's not a slouch by any means. A very quick driver. So to be able to sort of, get positions away from him is certainly nothing to sniff at. I'd be very happy with yourself, to be honest. So very much earned a beer with that second race, and very much earned yourself a torch, or at least some sort of glow stick after race one. So thank you ever so much for joining us in the interview box. Any last words before we call it a night?
no, that's it. Chuffed with a victory. Thanks very much.
Wicked. Thank you very much. So, one driver brave enough to join us. Absolutely fantastic to hear from him this evening. And obviously, that was Evan Imre, who took pole in the second sprint race. Brilliant evening, everyone here. As I apologise to anyone who saw the absolute shambles of a session swapping by me. That will be all sorted and ironed out by next time. And I apologise profusely to Domino, who showed me how to do everything. And then it all fell apart a little bit for this evening. I obviously forgot an easy button that I should have been pressing, but I just wasn't. So thank you ever so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage and what's been here this evening. And hopefully you are back same time next week for another 2 races. And that's be round 4. So, yeah, join us again. Same place, same time. See you next.